Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And after picking up another, about 3 or 4 inches of new snow overnight, blue sky for most of the day today. And look at this beautiful shot from our Sky-Fi Tower camera at Omi Gardens, looking down at the Wenatchee Valley. Just a very low cloud bank hanging over the foothills of the Cascades, but lots of bright blue sunshine out there. But it was also a little bit chilly, and we will continue with that chilly weather. Let's take a look at what we can expect. This is from today until the middle of next week, and our weather picture really isn't going to change all that much. Mostly dry and cold this weekend. We will see a bit of a wind on Saturday. Drifting snow and cold wind chills won't affect us all that much. That'll be over mainly in the Waterville Plateau and over towards Ritzville and Moses Lake. And then beyond that, we just have a few mountain snow showers, maybe even some rain showers for us, and hopefully some warmer temperatures. We'll talk much more about that coming up a little bit later on in weather. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. February weather in the Wenatchee Valley was a record setter. We'll tell you about it. And Washington Governor Jay Inslee is expected to announce Friday that he will be running for president in 2020. But first, we begin tonight. 44-year-old Joseph Meadows of Chelan is in the Chelan County Regional Justice Center tonight following his arrest yesterday for stealing electronics equipment from a car at a North Wenatchee Avenue gas station and then trying to extort the victim. Captain Edgar Reinfeld of the Wenatchee Police Department tells us because of cooperation from the victim all the way across the Pacific Ocean in New Zealand, law enforcement was able to recover the stolen property and make an arrest.
Back on Valentine's Day, on February 14th, at about 6:30 p.m., a visitor to our area, who was actually here from New Zealand for business, stopped to get gas at a gas station on North Wenatchee Avenue. He pumped his gas, walked away from his rental car, and went inside to pay. When he came back out, his backpack containing over $5,000 in equipment related to his work was gone. And as an officer responded, they pulled up the video and had great video of a male pulling up in a Dodge Challenger, getting out of the car, looking in the victim's car, opening it up, grabbing the backpack, and then taking off. Several cameras of location captured him, and we got really good views of the suspect and his vehicle, but we were not able to identify him at that point. However, on February 23rd or 24th, depending on how we look at the international dateline, the suspect emailed the victim saying he had an urgent business matter to discuss with him and needed a U.S. phone number to call him. And in the email address included the first initial, full middle name, and full last name of the suspect. The victim in New Zealand contacted our department, and the initial officer was able to very simply check that name in our local database and on Facebook both and find a suspect that matched the appearance of all these images from the cameras. So we now had a good suspect. The conversations continued on email with New Zealand to ask for further contact. So our victim in New Zealand had one of our detectives act as him, but used our detective's phone number to make contact with a suspect who agreed to return the property for an incentive of a few $100s. So we set up a meet yesterday. Our detectives and our drug task force agents did a bust on the suspect when he appeared with the bag to sell it.
Meadows has been charged with vehicle prowl in the second degree, first degree theft, trafficking in stolen property first degree, and extortion first degree. Well, February weather in the Wenatchee Valley was a record setter. According to the National Weather Service in Spokane, the official weather service site along the Columbia River in Wenatchee recorded 22.1 inches of snow in February, beating the old record set back in 1938 of 21.8 inches. Elevation matters. 28.3 inches of snow fell at a reporting station in East Wenatchee for the month, which is 600 feet higher in elevation than in Wenatchee. Leavenworth ended February with 37.5 inches of snow, and Yakima recorded 30.4 inches. As far as February temperatures are concerned, and even though we only cracked the freezing mark 2 times all month, we weren't even close to setting an all-time coldest record. February of 2019 comes in 7th all-time coldest average temperature at 25.7 degrees, which is an average between high and low temperature readings. The coldest February on record was was in 1936, when the average temperature for the month was only 15.3 degrees. Last night's snowstorm brought another round of snow-related school cancellations and delays because of hazardous road conditions. Waterville School District delayed its classes for 2 hours. In Grant County, both the Quincy and Moses Lake School Districts canceled classes, and Ephrata postponed classes for 2 hours. In other news, Washington Governor Jay Inslee is expected to announce Friday that he'll be running for president in 2020. He's also expected to leave open the option for running for a third term as governor if his presidential bid falls short. Inslee's campaign is expected to focus heavily on climate change. He's visited early primary states, New Hampshire and Iowa, in recent months, but in early polling, he's already barely registered against other Democratic contenders. Coming up next, a 5-story, 127-bed hotel is being planned adjacent to Walla Walla Point Park in Wenatchee. The Wenatchee City Council tonight will consider establishing a new sister city relationship with the town in Mexico. And we'll have our weekly Kennel Cameos feature with the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Everything we do is about delivering very high quality care and keeping our patients safe.
We really work as a team here, and so that's really what makes it worthwhile.
I give 100% every day, and I do that because I work for a company that I believe gives 100% back to me.
The bottom line is we genuinely care about our employees.
It is the most incredible place to work, and you will be inspired every day.
Antique Mall at Cashmere wishes you a happy and prosperous new year. With 15,000 square feet to explore, Antique Mall at Cashmere has something for everyone. For repurposing projects, do-it-yourselfers, and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, this is the place to find your next project. Antique Mall at Cashmere, their friendly staff is here to help you. Stop on by today.
When you have to get there on time and looking good, call Fast, Friendly, Reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. Available 24/7, AC Checker Taxi has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee for your pre-booked call. Some conditions apply. Call 663-8294. AC Checker, 663-TAXI. Schedule your ride ASAP or book up to a year in advance online at azchecker.com. American Classic Checker Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
Welcome back. In another news, a 5-story, 127-bed hotel is being planned adjacent to Walla Walla Point Park in Wenatchee. An application by Seattle company River One Wenatchee LLC said the proposed site currently includes vacant land, a landscaping company, and an off-leash dog park. All structures on the site would be demolished to make way for the hotel. The hotel will be a Residence Inn by Marriott, and the listed owner of the property is Robert and Linda Parlett, trustees. The hotel would be off Walla Walla Avenue and assessed from Riverwalk Drive. Public comments on the project will be taken by the city until March 7th. Well, the Wenatchee City Council tonight will consider establishing a new sister city relationship with San Pedro, Lacapacu, Mexico. The town is located in the state of Jalisco and is located near the state capital of Guadalajara. A delegation of Wenatchee officials visited the town in 2017, led by council member Ruth Esparza. Lacapacu is known for its mariachi bands that perform during the annual San Pedro festivities. The town is also known for its famous tepache and partially fermented drink made with pineapple, brown sugar, and water. If approved, San Pedro Lacapacu would become Wenatchee's third sister city, joining Misawa, Japan, and Naju, South Korea. Well, time now for our weekly Kennel Cameos feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Today, NCWLIFE's Megan McPherson introduces us to Lapis the cat.
Hey guys, guys, Megan here with the NCWLIFE channel. We are here with Renee Parkins, the Development Officer of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and joining us this week is Lapis, and she's staying inside her cage today just because she's a little skittish because her eyesight isn't very good, right?
Yeah, she has some visual impairments and we don't know the extent of where that is. She's a little skittish, a little slow to trust just because she can't see.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you saw, she wasn't quite sure she wanted to come out and say hi to us today.
And what kind of home life is she looking for?
Lapis is going to need a quiet home. Probably no children. I would say no other animals. A lot of times when animals will have visual impairments, it's just hard for them to be around other animals because they feel threatened. And so just somewhere that's very nice and quiet, someone that has time to take it slow with her. An adult-only home with no other pets would be her preferred and less stress kind of location for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if someone wants to adopt her, what should they do?
They should come visit her at the shelter, get to know her. We do have get acquainted rooms that are separate from what we would be doing, where they can go in, really spend some quiet, quality time, see if Lapis is going to be a good fit, see if that relationship is going to work, then they can adopt her and take her home today.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. This has been Kennel Cameos at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, your complete local weather and our features story. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's features story, we continue our look at the historic Horan House in Wenatchee. In this segment from the upcoming NCW magazine, we visit with Rory Turner, a commissioner with the Chelan County Port District who works in historic renovation and got involved in trying to save the Horan House from demolition because of its local historical significance.
It's really at a tipping point. It either needs to be, moved or restored immediately because it's open to the elements now and it's really deteriorating pretty rapidly. So, we may have another week or two, but that's about it. I guess the passion that I have is for older buildings, regardless of what they are and what shape they're in. And I think they're time capsules to the past. And so once you lose them for good. I've been aware of the Horan House for a lot of years. When we first came to town, we had dinner out there. We moved here in the mid-90s, and it's just an extraordinary location, and historically it's very important. Beyond that, it's just a beautiful home, and you look past the cobwebs now and the broken windows, and if you can imagine what it was like back then. So I don't have any direct economic connection with this at all. I have no skin in the game, if you will. There's nothing that I have other than I just wanted to take one last shot at perhaps saving this. I wasn't aware that it was going to be torn down. Nevio is a great guy and has tried to do something with it for the last several years. Right now, the Chelan County PUD is in the process of acquiring around 20 acres to ultimately, they're considering moving their headquarters out there, or a portion of it. I don't think any decisions have been made, but they needed to create the opportunity for themselves to expand in a more centrally located area, because they service the entire county, right? So it made sense for them to do that. They are acquiring a piece of property that is adjacent to the Horan House. It's called the Horan Block. It used to be the orchard that was attached with it. The PUD would like to acquire this piece from Nevio as well, and certainly in his rights, he's gone through the Historic Preservation Board, and they've given it a ruling of non-significant significance at this point. And so Nevio's being very patient right now. He's got the go-ahead to demo it or do whatever he needs to do, but he's been gracious enough to give us some time. The bottom line is, if we don't have an ultimate use for this, a location for it perhaps, or a use on site that could provide us a stream of income or revenue, or be something that the public could use and value. If we don't have that, if we don't have a use for it, then, like any building at some point in time, particularly a wooden structure that was constructed without the benefits of, pressurized treated timber and things like that back in the 1800s, at some point in time, there's a tipping point where it's just not valuable anymore, other than the emotional value of having it. So I think we're there, and we haven't been able to come up with an ultimate use. And there has been a lot of interest, a lot of community interest, a lot of, people say, hey, you need a check, let me know. But if we don't have a use for it, then it's just a building, I guess, at that point in time. If we would have started maybe a couple of years ago, I would say that the opportunity to succeed would have been a little greater. But, I didn't address it, and, my bad. I'll be sorry to see it go away. I won't be there when they tear it down if it gets torn down. It's not really emotional, but it's like, doggone it, I wish I would have taken on this project a couple of years ago, because I think I could have done something else. So I'm going to look at it personally as a little bit of a loss.
Time now for a check of your local weather forecast. But before we get into all those details, let's check out what we're seeing outside our weather window. And what a gorgeous day with the blue skies, a little bit of a low cloud bank hanging over the foothills of the Cascades. This shot provided by a Sky-Fi tower camera on Obie Gardens. Unfortunately, we saw the sun, but we didn't get that warm today. Still stayed in the 20s. We've been there all week long. High temperature in Wenatchee today at 28 degrees. 47 is where we should be now. Normal low is 30. 15 is where we started the day. Record high 62 in 1968. Record low 9 degrees set back in 1993. We did pick up 12/100ths of an inch of moisture from that snow overnight. That now gets us to just under 1.9 inches for the year. And snowfall to date, 22.1 inches. And that's all been in February. That's our record for February. We talked about that earlier in the show. Broke an old record set back in 19 36. Sunrise this morning, 6:43. Sunset is at 5:44. Taking a look at our surface loop now, what we can expect tonight. Mostly clear skies. An area of low pressure that brought us all of the moisture has now flung most of that moisture into Montana, where we're seeing winter storm warnings there. This will continue to move inland and then break up as we move into our Friday forecast. By 1 o'clock, mostly sunny skies here in the Wenatchee Valley. We'll see calm wind conditions, but once again, we're just not going to be that warm. With temperatures again hovering around that 30-degree mark. As we get into the upcoming weekend on Saturday, expect partly cloudy skies. We'll begin with a little patchy morning fog, a light northeast breeze by afternoon too, but you can see cold air continues to funnel down below Washington. Here's our trough, and it actually extends all the way down into the central U.S. Just cold air funneling down from the northwest, so mostly sunny on Sunday and still a little bit chilly. Not much change for Monday either at 1 o'clock as we kick off our next work week. We'll see sunny skies and unseasonably cool temperatures as this trough continues to dig southward into the central part of the United States. And then by Tuesday next week, we're going to transition back to our precipitation map. Increasing clouds. It still will be a little bit chilly, but here's the area of low pressure that could really change our overall weather pattern. As it continues to slide up from the southwest, we could see a warmer air pattern begin to develop, more of an airflow from the southwest other than from the northwest. But by Wednesday, a 30% chance of snow. Still chilly then with highs in the mid-30s. Let's take a look at your quick lube and tune forecast now. Tonight we'll drop down to 18 degrees, 32 and calm for your Friday. Partly cloudy and 30 as we kick off the weekend. And then Sunday and Monday, a little bit cooler with highs in the mid to upper 20s, back to 30 and even the middle 30s for the middle of next week. By Wednesday, a 30% chance of snow with a high temperature of 34. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCW Life Evening News continues right after this.
I'm working today.
I've got some work to do today.
Don't forget, I've got some work for you today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Thanks.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in our community.
New beginnings feel great, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Be a job creator. Goodwill. There's more behind the store.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
For the third straight year, the Cashmere Lady Bulldogs are heading to the State 1A semifinals after a 62-41 win over Annie Wright today. Here in the quarterfinals in Yakima, the Bulldogs were led by the 29 points of Haley Van Lith, who left the game after a collision near center court that left her bleeding from the nose.
Yeah, I just got an outlet full speed and I was running, and one of the other team's players was like sitting right there and just punched me right in the face. So I don't think it was meant. I think it was just a hard foul on accident, but I might have a little bit of a shiner tomorrow, but all is good. So
it's never good when your best player goes out of the game, but it's happened a couple times before where she's been in foul trouble and we have to play without her. We have to play a little bit different, obviously, when Haley's out of the game. But you know what? I was proud of how our girls handled the press when Haley wasn't out there. I was proud when we got down on the offensive end. Our execution was really good. And we were just kind of band-aiding that there for a while to hold on until she could kind of come back. And then when she came back, man, the afterburners got turned on and we really kind of turned it up there. So really proud of our girls. They did a good job. Peyton Brown come on off the bench, did a good job. And everybody was just very good game for us.
Speaking of defense, the biggest eruption from the bench came in the fourth quarter when Ellie Alberts took a charge.
That's because we're trying to get Ellie to take a charge all year long. It's hard. That's a tirade. I said that in the locker room. I said, I never thought 2 years this would come out of my mouth, but I was hoping it would. Ellie great job taking a charge, and she did. She was in the right spot at the right time, and just really proud of her. And that was a good game for her too. I mean, she was good on both ends of the floor.
So that's because I've only taken one charge this whole entire season, and so he said keep taking a charge, and I kept wanting to go up and block a shot, and I kept getting fouls. So finally, take a charge, and everybody erupts.
Cashmere held Annie Wright without a field goal to start the second half until 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Coach Darnell knows his team is able to make the defensive plays. Cashmere will face LaSalle coming up tomorrow in the semifinals at 3:45 after the Lightning dispatched of Bellevue Christian today 61-21. Also advancing to the semis, last year's state champion Linden Christian after they beat Elma today in the quarterfinals 55-25. The Lions will face the winner of tonight's matchup between Medical Lake and Meridian. Going back to yesterday's action here in the Sun Dome, the Cashmere boys stumbled out of the gate and fell to Kingsway Christian 67-52. Cashmere coach Levi Hyan told me after the game that his team just wasn't quite ready for the big stage of the state tournament.
We talked about coming in that this is a tough place to shoot the basketball, and we can't rely on the three. And we've shot a lot of threes this season. But going into the game, the game plan was to try to get to the free throw line, get to the basket, get to the foul line. And I think our guys did a pretty good job early on. We still settled, early on we had the jitters, and I think we took 5 threes right away, and we tried to call timeout, settle down, keep attacking the rim. And I think they got frustrated. They didn't get a couple calls they wanted going to the basket, and so they said, well, I'm not going to go in there. And that can't be the mentality. We want to keep attacking, keep getting to the foul line, be aggressive, move the basketball, and and talked about being young, and sometimes the patience that they have to learn that.
And when Cashmere tried to make a move in the second quarter, the Knights had an answer. Kingsway was led by the 18 points of Kalfani Kaysen. Mason Landek led Cashmere with 15 points, while Carter Alberts and Sam Phillips each had 14. Once the game was out of reach, Coach Hyan pulled some players together on the bench for a message.
I'm just trying to get them up and rally them a little bit. Those are the 7 guys we have coming back. So that's going to be our core for next year. And just wanted to talk to them about, what they've done this year and what they've learned and what we can do, looking forward. But the biggest thing was just to remind them how we got here and to try to, let them know this isn't the end of the world, and it sucks and we're all hurting, but we want to make sure that we remember that we have some time left and that we're gonna remember this feeling, and hopefully we don't experience that again. But the biggest thing was just try to bring them back a little bit and just say, it's okay. It happens, and you've worked hard. You deserve to be here, and you'll be back if you continue to work and get better. So, yeah, it's just, if you could, just give them a big group hug, but there's too many of them, but that's really kind of what it was.
So Kingsway Christian advances to today's second round with a 67-52 victory. Cashmere ends its season with a record of 17-7. Turning to the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard for the 2B tournament in Spokane, the Brewster girls stayed alive yesterday and moved on to day 2 at the Veterans Memorial Arena by downing Rainier 53-48. The Lady Bears facing Tri-Cities Prep in the quarterfinals tonight at 9 o'clock. The Brewster boys are in the semifinals after a 57-49 win over Willapa Valley today in Spokane. And the Lake Roosevelt boys advanced yesterday with a 41-37 win over Liberty Spangle. The Razors were facing Christian Academy today in the quarterfinals. Well, with the snow here, it's nice to think of dry, sunny weather in Arizona, where the Mariners continue spring training. Seattle took on Cleveland yesterday and jumped out to an early lead thanks to the long ball from Daniel Vogelbach.
All right, for Vogelbach, a left-handed hitter. The windup and the 3-1. Swing and a well-hit ball. Deep to right field. Going. Goodbye, baseball. Daniel Vogelbach with his first home run of the spring, and that was a laser. It got out of here in a hurry into the bleachers in right field here in Goodyear. Daniel Vogelbach giving the Mariners a 1-0 lead here in the top half of the second.
Big Vogie with his first homer of the spring. He's now 3 for 7.
Mariners scored 5 runs in the second but couldn't hold on. Cleveland came back for the 6-5 victory. Seattle continuing their spring training in Peoria today against the White Sox. Here in Yakima at the State Hardwood Classic, I'm Eric Granstrom on the NCWLIFE channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
The NCW Life channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV. Street Talk and Other Stuff. The 12th District. Life with Lisa. And the Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life channel is your local TV station.